Good morning to you all, good morning. Friday, 15th of March 2024. Onions. I've done this joke before, but I've got new subscribers, so we'll recycle an old joke. This onion is Charles, that one's Fred, that one's Anthony, that one is Cleopatra. I know my onions. Okay, yeah, it wasn't funny when I told it last time, was it? What I have done this morning so far, apart from drinking tea, is I watched a video posted on YouTube by Rusty Glovebox. Rusty's a good guy. I've got a feeling he's some sort of engineer, I think. And his video is about his approach to gardening. Fascinating stuff. I will, in the comments or somewhere, I'll put a link onto his video. And he's inviting us all to share with the rest of the YouTube community our gardens in all their glory or all their disaster. You know, why not? Things don't always go how they should, do they? You know, this is not exactly ideal. Strawberries with couch grass growing amongst them. Not really something to be too proud of, is it? Need to get in there and get that grass out. But yes, he's inviting us all, and he's inviting us to use a hashtag, whatever one of those is, so that we can link the assorted videos. These, I don't actually know the name for them. Someone told me the name. It's a sort of, well, it is a brassica, and it's a bit like purple sprouting broccoli. And as you can see, I've been happily eating some of this. If I was really clever, I'd tell you all the health properties that these things have, but you know, whatever. It's a sort of purple sprouting sort of thing, and you know, to cook it, you flash steam it. You know, you boil your potatoes just before the potatoes are ready for serving. Chuck some of that in top of the water, and it cooks quite nicely, and it tastes all right if you like that sort of thing. So, the invitation to all of you, first of all, the invitation is go and have a look at Rusty's video. You'll get the idea of what he's talking about. And then get yourselves out into your farm, shoot a little bit of video and show us what you're growing, what you're up to. You know, are you, for example, hoping to grow walnuts? What did you do to get that walnut tree to grow there? Now, Rusty takes a very methodical approach to growing things. The method I used to produce this walnut tree was I let a squirrel plant a walnut. And when the walnut tree was this high, I didn't dig it up. I let it grow. And one of my local friends has looked at this tree and said, oh, no, that's a disaster, you'll never get that out. Walnut trees have very, very deep taproots on them. Well, I don't want to get it out, because in 20 years' time, this will be a magnificent walnut tree. It will give shade to this part of the garden. It will give a windbreak. It might even give some walnuts. As I say, the approach, the highly scientific approach that I used was I didn't dig it up. It really was planted by a squirrel. With these, my approach was somewhat more thought out. Only somewhat. It wasn't that well thought out. Gooseberry bushes. Gooseberries are actually quite an unusual thing here. People don't really like them. Partly because they've got thorns on, and partly because the weather here works against them. Just as they're ready to eat, the sun just burns them. But the approach with these was many years ago. I bought a couple of gooseberry bushes, planted them in a garden in Essex in England, got gooseberries off them, was very happy with that, but the bushes get too big and you cut bits out. Now, what you can do with cuttings from gooseberries is you cut them, push them in the ground, and they will grow. It's an incredible plant for propagating. If you run it over accidentally with a lawnmower, you take all of the cuttings and you just chuck them on the compost heap, and some of them will throw roots and they will grow. Or you can layer them. That's where you take one branch and you push it down and push it into a pot or into the dirt, and it will throw roots and it will grow, which is how come I have over here another gooseberry bush growing. That was layered from that. I like gooseberries. I won't get a particularly good crop of them here. As I say, the sun just burns the fruit. There is a way round that. On really hot days you can put net curtains over the plants. But yes, get out into your growing spaces, get some stuff going on. Yours will be different to mine. It will certainly be different to Rusty Glovebox's. He's got things in the ground that I couldn't possibly have in the ground here at this time of year. He's already got tomatoes and jalapenos going. Way too early for Azay-le-Ferron. One hard frost would just knock them over. We can expect a frost as late as May. So each of our gardens is going to be different. This is one of the things that amuses me. This is a rosemary bush. And every year I use about that much rosemary. And if you go in the shops and buy it to use as a culinary thing, normally what you do with this is you add it when you cook a piece of lamb. You push some rosemary in, and in the shops that much is about €1. So this plant is about €1,000 worth of rosemary, and it grows like it grows like wild. The other thing you do with it is when it's got too big and you cut it, you can put it on your fire and it gives an interesting smell in the kitchen. But yeah, show us what you're up to. We are interested. Now, one of the things that I know that both Rusty Glovebox and I understand is some of you will look at what he's doing and what I'm doing, and some of you will say, I can't do that. I know some of you will say that. Rusty Glovebox is taking a very different approach to gardening to the approach that I take. Some of you are going to say, I haven't got all that space, or some of you will say, I can't be doing with all that fancy hydroponics and clever raised bed stuff. So, okay, let's suggest something that is neither a lot of space. Oh, yeah, okay. This little chap is all excitable because there's a little girl cat that might be at the right time of year for her to entertain gentleman cats, shall we say. And Reese, oh dear, he doesn't actually know where she is, and he's getting quite distraught about the whole thing. Anyway, where were we? Gardening. Yes, so I'm going to do something that in agricultural gardening terms is pretty stupid, and we'll see how it goes. We'll see if I get a result or not. Now, here is a piece of dirt that I've dug and I've removed stinging nettles from. And what I could do is I could spend the rest of the year removing stinging nettles from it. Or what I could do is I could plant something in it and get something out of it. And to give you an idea, I brought me stick of inches. So that's sort of a metre by 90 centimetres, something like that. It's not good dirt. What we'll do, we'll give it a quick rake, level it out a bit, and then we're going to plant some stuff. And I thought I would give it a bit of a working over before I planted stuff. This is an incredibly expensive piece of equipment, so expensive that someone gave it to me for nothing. You do not need to spend megabucks on your gardening. What I discovered quite quickly when I just attacked the ground was there was still bits of root of stinging nettle. They'll need to come out. And what we're going to plant in there is some leeks. Now, I actually bought the seed for these leeks. And this is a variety that is simply called Gros Long d'été. Big, long summer leeks. That's the name of the variety. I bought those seeds. You don't need to buy them. If you know someone, you can get your leek seeds for nothing. I've got an envelope indoors with Musselburgh giant seed in that I was given by a friend. Haven't started them yet. I will, because they produce a wonderful leek. I need something to make holes with. Now, I'm going to show off a little bit. This dibber is actually made out of a piece of pear wood, and I turn that up myself, so I'm sort of proud of that. But you don't need to. You can use any old stick to make a hole. What we're going to do, oh, incidentally, you'll notice that I didn't spend much on the pot. That was a little pot with chocolate mousse in it before I had it for dessert one day. So what we're going to do, we're going to go to the prepared bed, and we are going to read the instructions on the packet. No, we're not. We're going to make holes. Dunk, dunk. You get the idea. We're making holes, dibbing holes. Now, there is an optimum spacing for these. I actually don't know what it is. For championship leeks, that's way too close, but for just something to eat, that's not too sad. Now some gardeners do this very meticulously correctly and they make grids and things. Yeah, okay. If you're going for championship, then that's certainly the way to go. But if you're just going for something out of interest, let's take that little bit of tile out of there. If you're just going for something for interest, you know, it's not that hypercritical. Now, the next thing that we need to do is separate these leeks. Now, I'm going to have to put you down while I do that. Yeah, that's quite pleasing. They've got good roots on them. A little bit early for these. You should let them get a little bit bigger than that, but I'd got them in a pot that was too small. But we're going to separate these out. Oh, he said dropping them carelessly. We're going to separate them and we're going to pop them in the holes. There's a funny thing with leeks, you always end up with more leeks than you've got holes. This is going to take a few moments, so I'll turn you off while I do this. Okay, so there we are. We've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18 leeks in their holes. What we next do is we get water, a watering can, and we fill the holes up with water. That's another two-handed job, but that's literally it. That's how you plant leeks. And I've got this many left over from that tiny little pot, which means I'm going to have to go and find somewhere else in the garden to put them. One of the things that you will find with leeks is you'll plant 18, and tomorrow we will come out and look at them, and some of them will have disappeared because worms will have eaten some of them. So you always start with too many and then you can backfill the spaces. Oh, there we are. Now, remember this funny little bit of bed, because through the course of the year we'll have updates specifically on this little patch. It won't all be success. I know that. If you think that you're going to plant one seed and get one magnificent leek, well, it doesn't work like that. The allium family, which is onions and leeks and shallots and all of those sorts of things, they have a seed head with thousands of seeds. So in nature, the way it works is the flower comes up, the bees, the pollinators come along, and they do all their clever stuff, and they pollinate the seed, and the seed forms and dries, and the wind shakes the flower and the seed gets chucked everywhere. And not all of them will turn into big, fat, wonderful leeks. So you mustn't be disappointed if you don't get the perfect crop. You accept what you get. I'm confident that I will get a few dinners out of this particular little piece of ground, and I'm confident that if you've got a little bit of dirt, as much as that, you can grow something. What could we grow there? We could grow 4 tomato plants, we could grow 2 courgettes, we could grow 4 cucumber plants. But the challenge to everybody is to do something and to share what you do. Successes, failures, pleasures, disappointments. Let's see how we get on.